Have you ever awakened with the weight of the world pressing on your chest, even before your eyes fully open? Do you ever feel as though, from the very first second of the day, an invisible hand grips your mind, dragging you back into the same loops of anxiety, regret, or silent despair? You are not alone. There is a reason why your mornings feel heavy, why your thoughts start spinning before your feet touch the ground. And that reason does not lie merely in the chaos of your schedule or the emails waiting in your inbox. It lies deeper, in chambers of your psyche you have not yet dared to visit. You may think that conquering your day requires discipline, a rigid routine, or relentless positivity. But I tell you, no outer routine will save you if you remain a stranger to the forces that govern your inner world. I am Freud, and I have spent my life listening to the whispers of the unconscious, the realm where forgotten wounds, forbidden desires, and silent conflicts dwell. And I am here to guide you through 15 acts, yes, 15 that you must perform every morning if you wish to master not only your day, but your mind itself. But I warn you, these acts are not the simple habits of motivational books, nor the hollow slogans of self-help gurus. They are keys. Keys to open the doors of your unconscious. For the true enemy of your day is not your alarm clock, nor your deadlines, nor even your fatigue. It is the silent repetition of patterns born in the cradle of your childhood, returning each day to steer your thoughts, your choices, your fears. The same patterns that keep you running in circles, forever waking up to the same battles. Why? Should mornings matter so much, you might ask? Because the moments after waking are a bridge fragile, bridge between your unconscious night world and the world of daylight. In those first minutes, the residues of dreams cling to you like morning mist. The ego is still half asleep, the superego not yet fully armed with its moral commands, and the id stirs, unfiltered and alive, offering you glimpses of truth before your defenses snap back into place. It is a sacred moment. To waste it is to waste the clearest access you will have all day to the true content of your psyche. Allow me to confess something. There was a time when even I, the so-called father of psychoanalysis, woke each morning with dread, haunted by the echoes of my father's death, by doubts about my own path, by shadows of desire I wished to deny. It was in these raw mornings that I learned the mind must be greeted like a patient, gently, with curiosity, and with courage. And so I devised rituals not of superstition, but of psychic hygiene, acts to cleanse the fog of repression, to listen for the messages hidden beneath my habitual thoughts, and to restore the fragile balance between the forces that wage war inside us all. Some of you will resist this idea. You will say, I have no time, or I am not so complicated. And yet you wonder why, after your rushed shower and your coffee gulped down in haste, the same old fear returns to your chest. Why your heart races in traffic, why your mind rehearses conversations with people who are no longer there. I tell you, this is the return of the repressed. Your ghosts do not care about your schedule. They wait for you each dawn. So let us begin. The first thing you must do each morning is pause. Not simply to lie in bed a few moments longer, but to observe the fragments of dreams that still shimmer in your mind. Your dreams are not random nonsense. They are the encrypted messages of your unconscious. Even if you remember only a single image, a face, a room, a sensation, write it down. No detail is trivial. A forgotten key in a dream may be the key to understanding why you sabotage your relationships. A locked door may be the door you fear to open in your own history. Your day begins in the theater of your dreams. Do not close the curtain too quickly. Secondly, you must breathe, but not merely as the body breathes. Breathe as if you are communing with your own depths. Feel the air enter and leave you, and ask yourself, what do I truly desire today? Not what is expected of you, not what duty demands, but what your soul, your ID, craves. You may be surprised. The answers may frighten you, but better to know your own desires and be ruled by them blindly. Third, look in the mirror and speak the truth to yourself. Do not recite affirmations you do not believe. Instead, name aloud one fear that weighs on you. Perhaps, I fear that I am not enough, or I fear that people will leave me. Speak it, for silence gives it power. Once it is named, it becomes an object you can examine rather than a shadow that rules you. Fourth, touch your body, not only to groom yourself, but to remember that you exist beyond your mind. Many suffer because they are trapped in thought, dissociated from the body that carries them. Touch your face, your chest, your hands. Whisper to yourself, I am here. This act roots the ego in reality, anchoring you in the present moment. Fifth, before looking at your phone, write a question to your unconscious. It may be as simple as, why am I afraid of being alone? Or, why do I always feel guilty? Leave the question unanswered for now. Let it linger throughout your day. The unconscious does not respond to interrogation, but to invitation. Sixth, drink water slowly. As you drink, remember that your body is not a machine to be forced into productivity, but a vessel of life. Each sip is a promise to care for yourself. The unconscious registers even these small gestures as signs of love or neglect. Seventh, open a window. Let air and light enter. The unconscious thrives in darkness, but it also yearns for light. The simple act of opening a window is a metaphor for opening your mind. It is a declaration that you wish to see things as they are, not merely as you fear them to be. Eighth, read something that nourishes you. Not the news nor social media, but words that speak to your inner life. A line of poetry, a fragment of philosophy, even a sentence from a sacred text. The mind needs food as the body does, lest it grow starved and frantic. Ninth, recall your childhood. Each morning, choose a memory from your earliest years. Who were you then? What did you love? What frightened you? These glimpses remind you that your adult self was built upon a child's foundations. Patterns you live today were etched in those early days. 10th, forgive yourself for yesterday. Speak it aloud if you must. I forgive myself for what I did not accomplish. Or, I forgive myself for my anger. The superego is relentless, but forgiveness softens its blows. Without forgiveness, the new day begins shackled to the failures of the old. 11th, set an intention that serves not merely survival, but growth. Instead of, I must get through this day, dare to say, today I will look at my anxiety with curiosity. Or, today I will protect my boundaries. The unconscious hears your declarations and begins to align your energy with them. 12th, find silence. Even for 30 seconds, let the noise subside. In silence, the whispers of your true self can be heard. You cannot master your day if you cannot hear your own thoughts beneath the clamor of the world. 13th, touch beauty. It may be the feel of cool water, the color of the sky, the grain of wood beneath your fingertips. Beauty is not a luxury. It is a psychic necessity. It reminds you that life holds meaning beyond duty and pain. 14th, remember that you are mortal. Whisper to yourself, one day I will die. This is not morbid. It is the ultimate clarity. When you remember death, your petty anxieties shrink. You remember to live. And 15th. But the 15th I will reveal in due course, for it deserves a moment of its own. Let us pause here. You may already feel resistance stirring within you, the same resistance I observed in my patients when the truth came too close. That resistance is your unconscious defending its secrets. But I promise you this, to master your day, you must First dare to meet yourself, Dodd. Ah, you are still with me. That is significant. Many would have turned away already, preferring the comfortable numbness of routine rather than peering into the chasm of the unconscious. But you remain. And so, I shall keep my promise and reveal to you the 15th act that must begin your day, a gesture deceptively simple, yet of the greatest importance. The 15th thing you must do each morning is this: speak a vow of truth. A vow that you will not abandon yourself today, that you will not silence your desires merely to please others, that you will not betray your own emotions to preserve an illusion of peace. Speak it out loud if you dare. Whisper it if you must. Let it vibrate in the air around you. For words spoken possess a magic far greater than words merely thought. Why is this vow so crucial? Because every day your ego wages war on two fronts. On one side stands your ID, full of raw desires and impulses, some noble, some forbidden. On the other stands your superego, carrying the heavy armor of all the rules you were taught, rules of morality, of politeness, of what it means to be good or worthy. And caught between them is your ego, trembling like a general forced to command two armies who would gladly tear each other apart. This inner conflict consumes more energy than you realize. It is why you feel exhausted before the sun has fully risen. It is why you find yourself snapping at loved ones, why your mind is scattered, why your body grows tense as if preparing for battle. Each day, a secret civil war rages inside you. When you begin your morning with a vow of truth, you declare your allegiance to yourself. You remind both your ID and your superego that your ego is no passive pawn, but an active mediator. You say to your unconscious, I see you. I will not run from you, and I will not let you dictate my day in secret. Consider this. Most people live as though their conscious mind alone steers the ship of their lives. They set goals, make plans, repeat affirmations, and believe that is enough. But beneath the deck, the crew of the unconscious labors mutinous and restless, steering the ship in directions the captain above scarcely suspects. A single forgotten trauma, a buried humiliation, an unspoken longing, they may twist the rudder of your fate more powerfully than any conscious plan. You may tell yourself, today I will speak with confidence at work. And yet, when the moment comes, your throat tightens, your palms sweat, your words falter. Why? Because in the shadows, an old memory stirs the voice of a parent who once called you foolish, the laughter of classmates who mocked your trembling voice. These ghosts live still in the corridors of your mind, shaping your reality. This is why you must begin your day by acknowledging them. By speaking your vow of truth, you bring light into the darkness. You rob these phantoms of their power to control you unseen. I recall a patient, a woman of great intelligence and elegance, admired by all who knew her. Yet each morning she felt a crushing weight, a certainty that the day ahead would reveal her as a fraud. In analysis, we traced this terror back to a moment in childhood when her father, stern and cold, told her she was an ornament, not a mind. Those words, though spoken only once, became a wound she carried into every dawn. She asked me, will this fear ever go away? I told her, perhaps not entirely, but you may learn to greet it each morning, to say to it, I know who you are. I know why you come, and I will not let you rule me today. That is the vow I wish you to speak. For it is not the absence of fear that marks mastery of the mind. It is the willingness to look fear in the eyes and remain standing. Let us explore deeper why these 15 acts matter so profoundly. You might believe that, to change your life, you must change your circumstances, your job, your relationships, your bank account. Yet, I tell you, no outer change will bring peace if your inner conflicts remain unsolved. the true architect of your destiny is not the world outside, but the silent forces within. Each morning, you awaken not only to a new day, but to a private stage where old actors await their cues: the anxious child, the angry adolescent, the yearning lover, the stern judge. These figures are all you. They are the cast of your inner drama, replaying scripts written long before you could choose your lines. If you fail to meet them consciously, they will act out their scenes nonetheless in your choices, in your relationships, in the subtle ways you sabotage your own success. This is why the morning is sacred. It is the only time of day when you might catch these actors unprepared before they slip back into disguise. When the boundary between conscious and unconscious remains thin as a veil, the rituals I have given you are not superstition. They are psychological tools forged in the fires of analysis. They serve to remind your conscious mind that it is not the sole ruler of your existence, that it must listen to the voices rising from below. Some of you may protest. You may say, "I wish only to be free from all this, to think no more of these things, to simply live." But tell me, how can you be free of chains whose existence you refuse to acknowledge? How can you escape a prison whose walls you deny? Freedom is not forgetfulness. Freedom is knowledge. To know the shape of your chains is the first step toward breaking them. I ask you now, when you look in the mirror tomorrow morning, will you dare to see not only your reflection, but your hidden self? Will you look beyond the surface into the depths where your true story lies? If you do, you may find, as I did, that the forces which once seemed your enemies, the ID with its desires, the superego with its relentless demands, are not monsters, but misunderstood allies. Each carries wisdom. Each seeks your survival. They fight only because they have not been heard. I have told you that the unconscious is like a kingdom where the ruler knows nothing of the plots swirling through the corridors. My task, as yours must become, is to enter that kingdom as a diplomat, not as a conqueror. To listen, to negotiate, to bring peace among these inner factions. These 15 morning acts are your tools for diplomacy. They are your daily summons to the royal court of your mind, where old conflicts may be resolved and new alliances forged. And let me confess, even after all my years of study, I still begin each day with these rituals. For the unconscious never sleeps, and each dawn brings new dreams, new conflicts, new truths. My patient, the woman once crushed by her father's words, learned to wake each day and speak her vow. I will not abandon myself. And she discovered, to her wonder, that her voice no longer trembled when she spoke. I ask you, what might you discover if you chose each morning to stand with yourself rather than against yourself? Let me assure you, the work is not easy. The unconscious resists intrusion. It guards its secrets with cunning force. Yet the treasure it hides is worth every struggle, the knowledge of who you truly are. In the morning silence, before the noise of the world rushes in, there lies a window of possibility. Use it. Enter your day as an analyst of your own soul, because the day does not belong merely to clocks and calendars, nor to obligations imposed from without. The day belongs to the one who masters their own mind. So you wish to go further. That is both brave and inevitable, for once the door to the unconscious is cracked open, it is almost impossible to close it again without hearing the echoes from within. Let me then continue to guide you, for I have no desire to leave you stranded. Halfway across the bridge between your conscious life and the depths below, perhaps you have begun to sense already the profound paradox at the heart of your existence, that you are both the author and the prisoner of your own story. You imagine you are free, that you choose your thoughts, your moods, your decisions. Yet how often have you found yourself acting in ways that bewilder you, as if compelled by a hidden script? How often do you say, I don't know why I did that, why I said those words? why I stayed, why I left. These moments are not accidents, they are revelations. They are fragments of the unconscious erupting into your daylight world. What you call mistakes, what you label bad habits or self-sabotage, are often the return of the repressed. Allow me to confess something that may disturb you. Even the smallest gesture of your morning may contain the trace of childhood. Wounds, forgotten desires, forbidden thoughts. The way you glance at your phone, the urgency with which you rush to check your messages, the trembling anticipation as you wait for the world to validate your existence. These are not merely habits of modern life. They are rituals enacted by an ego desperate to avoid hearing the deeper voices rising from within. And yet, it is precisely these voices that you must hear if you wish to master your day. Let me speak of another patient, a man who came to me, successful in his profession, yet consumed by an unexplainable dread each dawn. He told me that upon waking, he felt as though he were being watched by unseen eyes, judged before he even spoke a word. He had built a fortress of achievements around himself, believing it would protect him. Yet each morning, that fortress dissolved, like mist, leaving him naked and afraid. Through analysis, we uncovered the source, a childhood marked by a father whose love was as conditional as the sun is on a winter day. A father who bestowed affection only when the boy achieved, performed, obeyed. As a man, he carried this silent commandment within him: be perfect or be worthless. No alarm clock could awaken him from that deeper sleep. It was only when he began his morning speaking his vow of truth, I am worthy even when imperfect, that the weight upon his chest began to lift. This is why the morning rituals I have offered you are not trivial. They are not simply practices for calmness or productivity. They are acts of revolution. For each time you pause, breathe, reflect, forgive yourself, you chip away at the ancient fortress of your unconscious patterns. Let us speak further of dreams. I have told you that they are the royal road to the unconscious, but many of you dismiss your dreams as nonsense, as strange images unworthy of your attention. This is a grave mistake. Each morning as you wake, your dreams are like messages written on delicate paper, quickly dissolving under the harsh light of reason. Yet within, those images are truths you have not dared to admit. A dream of falling may reveal the precariousness you feel in your daily life. A dream of being pursued may whisper of a guilt you carry from long ago. A dream of forbidden love may expose desires you have locked away for fear of judgment. Do not ask, is this dream true? All dreams are true, even those that never happened. In reality, they are true because they reveal the workings of your psyche. So tomorrow, when you wake, linger a moment longer in bed. Search your mind for any fragment of color, a word, a sensation. Write it down. And then, instead of rushing to analyze it, simply ask, what might this mean for the way I live my day? In doing so, you transform your morning into a dialogue between your conscious mind and your unconscious depths. You become the interpreter of your own secret language. Let me tell you of another phenomenon I have observed countless times, the repetition compulsion. This force, hidden yet relentless, drives people to reenact the same conflicts, the same painful patterns over and over. You choose partners who hurt you as your parents once did. You sabotage opportunities just as you were once punished for ambition. You seek suffering because it feels familiar and thus safer than the unknown. You may wake each morning vowing to change your life. Yet if you do not confront this unconscious compulsion to repeat, your days will remain the same. Different names, different faces, but the same stage play, performed anew. The morning is the battlefield where you can first glimpse this repetition. Why do you feel dread even when nothing bad has happened yet? Why does your stomach tighten as you consider the hours ahead? These are not random anxieties. They are echoes of the past. This is why I urge you, let your first act each day be curiosity, not condemnation. Ask yourself gently, whose voice am I hearing in my mind right now? Is it my own, or is it the voice of someone from my past? One woman I treated, successful and admired, confessed to me that every morning she awoke with the thought, today, someone will finally see that I am worthless. This voice was not hers. It belonged to her mother, who, in moments of cruelty, had whispered precisely those words to her as a child. When the woman finally dared to speak aloud, each morning, I reject that voice. It is not mine. She discovered something miraculous. The dread that had ruled her mornings began to fade. Understand this. The unconscious does not wish to harm you. It merely wishes to be heard. The more you silence it, the more violently. It demands your attention through symptoms, anxiety, depression, self-sabotage. And so I say again, the first minutes of your day are sacred. They are your audience with the deeper forces of your mind. Perhaps you fear what you will find. Perhaps you suspect that the darkness within you is too vast, too monstrous. Let me reassure you, there is nothing in you that I have not seen in countless others. Guilt, rage, lust, terror, all are part of being human. You are not deviant because you carry shadows. You are human because you carry shadows, and what you repress returns. Not always in ways you expect. Sometimes it returns in your body as migraines, stomach pain, trembling. Sometimes it returns in accidents, in slips of the tongue, in the strange urge to destroy precisely what you most desire. This is why the vow you speak each morning to see yourself truly, to abandon self-deception is an act of courage that few dare. It is the beginning of liberation. Remember, your mind is not a single voice, but a chorus. It contains your child self, your adolescent self, your adult self, each with memories and wounds. If you do not listen to these voices, they will speak. Nonetheless, in your choices, in your fears, in the silent ways you betray your own desires. But if you do listen, you become the conductor of this inner orchestra. You transform chaos into harmony. So tomorrow morning and each morning thereafter, perform your 15 acts. Not out of duty, but as an offering to your own soul. Greet your day not merely with a to-do list, but with the willingness to hear your deepest truths. And know this, mastery of your mind is not achieved in a single morning. It is the slow, daily work of awareness. The unconscious does not yield its secrets easily, but with each dawn, you come closer to your own freedom. I sense the weight in your silence. I sense the tension within you, a mixture of resistance and hunger. This is always how it goes in analysis. A part of you wishes to run. Another part leans closer, compelled by the possibility that life need not be merely endured, but understood. So let us not turn away now. Let us press on to the very end. We have spoken of dreams, of morning rituals, of the vow of truth. Yet I would fail in my duty if I did not now speak of the greatest obstacle you will face in this journey, the resistance of your own mind. I have spent decades listening to the human soul, and there is one universal law I have found. The unconscious does not yield its secrets without a fight. It resists exposure as fiercely as a wounded animal resists capture. You may begin your mornings with noble intentions. You may recite your 15 acts like sacred prayers, and still there will be days when the old patterns return. Days when fear closes your throat, when shame turns your gaze away from the mirror, when the comfort of forgetting seems sweeter than the pain of knowing. Do not condemn yourself for these moments. Resistance is not your enemy. It is a signal. It means you are approaching something important. The mind resists what it fears will change it forever. And that is precisely the territory in which healing waits. Many believe that healing is an act of erasing pain, that freedom is the absence of conflict. They are mistaken. Healing is the capacity to tolerate knowledge, to face truths that once felt unbearable. Imagine a man who each morning stands before his mirror and repeats, "I am strong, I am confident, I am unstoppable." Yet as he speaks these words, his hands tremble, and a voice in his mind whispers, "Liar." This voice is his resistance. It is the sentinel standing guard over old wounds, protecting him from feelings he believes would destroy him. But hear me well, those feelings will not destroy you. They will liberate you. There was once a patient, a young man who came to me convinced he was cursed, destined to ruin every relationship he entered. Each morning he woke with a crushing sense of dread. In our sessions, he wept, cursing himself for being weak. Through our work, we traced his dread to the silence of his mother, a silence that fell upon him each time he showed vulnerability. As a boy, he learned that expressing fear or sadness brought only absence, not comfort. And so, as a man, he feared his own feelings, convinced they would drive others away. He said to me, "I hate waking up. It's as though I open my eyes each morning only to find the same prison." I told him, "The prison is not your life. The prison is the lie you tell yourself, that your feelings make you unlovable." He began each morning with a new vow. "I will not punish myself for what I feel." Slowly, the dread eased. The mornings no longer arrived like a sentence pronounced by an invisible judge. And so I tell you now, if you wish to master your mind, you must cease waging war against your own emotions. You must learn to regard your feelings not as threats, but as messages. You ask me how? I will tell you. Each morning, after performing your 15 acts, sit in stillness and ask yourself one simple question. What am I afraid to feel today? Your answer might come instantly, or it might hover just beyond reach. Perhaps it is fear of anger, for you were taught that anger destroys love. Perhaps it is fear of sadness, for sadness once brought abandonment. Perhaps it is fear of desire, for desire once brought shame. Whatever it is, name it. Welcome it as a guest. Say to it, "I will not exile you today." This simple act transforms the entire day. For a feeling welcomed is a feeling that loses its power to rule from the shadows. But there is more. If you wish to master your mind, you must also become a detective of your own language. The words you speak to yourself each morning are not innocent. They are clues. Listen carefully to your inner dialogue. Do you say, "I have to," or "I choose to"? Do you say, "I am hopeless," or "I feel hopeless today"? The difference is immense. One sentence is a verdict. The other is a passing weather report. I urge you to shift your language. Replace "I am" with "I feel." Replace "always" with "sometimes." In these small changes, you reclaim your freedom. You may think this is trivial. It is not. Words are the currency of the unconscious. They carry the weight of forgotten memories, parental voices, societal commands. To change your words is to change the shape of your mind. There is one final truth I must tell you before we part ways. The quest to master your mind is not only for yourself. It is for the generations that come after you. I have seen it again and again. Trauma travels through families like an invisible inheritance. A father's unspoken shame becomes his son's silent rage. A mother's unwept tears become her daughter's chronic anxiety. The patterns you refuse to examine will not vanish. They will be handed down, woven into the souls of those who follow. You dot, and so, when you rise each morning and perform your rituals, you are not only healing yourself, you are breaking chains that stretch back through time. You are refusing to pass on the same wounds. You become the ancestor who chose to see the truth. There is no greater gift you can give. Now we arrive at the end of this journey. I know you may feel overwhelmed. So many words, so many truths, each demanding to be felt, understood, lived. Let me leave you with one certainty. You are not condemned to repeat your past. Your mind is not a prison. It is a labyrinth, and every labyrinth has a path to the center, and a path out again. Each morning you awaken. You stand at the threshold of possibility. Will you step forward in unconscious repetition, or will you pause, turn inward, and greet yourself as both the question and the answer? Let me offer you, in this final moment, a single sentence to carry into every dawn. Nothing within me is alien to me. Say it when you rise. Whisper it as you wash your face. Repeat it as you dress. It is the antidote to shame, the remedy for fear, the invitation to live as a whole being. For the purpose of all analysis, of all ritual, of all this endless talking is to bring you home to yourself, Dot, if these words have moved you. If, even in some small way, you feel seen, understood, provoked, I invite you to share this analysis with others. Let them, too, awaken to their hidden truths. Leave your thoughts below, your questions, your confessions. For in speaking your truth, you begin to free it, Dot, and now I bid you farewell. But remember, I am always here, in these words, waiting to guide you deeper, should you ever dare to return.